Okay, in this video I'm going to talk about how to write a great introductory paragraph for a 5-paragraph essay. And I'm using the sample essay that got a 4, or would get a 4 on the rubric of the sample essays I showed you for the question Hammurabi's Code, was it just? So what I'm going to do is just color code each part of the or each type of information that the introduction should include, and you can stop the video as you go and see if you have that kind of information in the right place, or you can see how I do the whole thing and then you can go back and fix it all at the end. So here we go. The first piece is a grabber, and grabbers are generally a quick way to hook the reader, maybe a sentence or two, sometimes a question. This one uses an old saying, kind of a cliche that's been adjusted. Here it is. Spare the rod and spoil the kingdom. In other words, if you're not strict, your people are going to be spoiled brats. It's short and to the point, and it gives us some idea of what this essay is going to be about. If you want, you can stop the video now and see if you've got a grabber right at the beginning, or you can write yourself a little note that you should come back and put a grabber there. The next thing that your introductory paragraph needs is some background information to set the scene. And I think you should have who, what, when, where information there, okay? And here's what we've got in this one. When Hammurabi came to the throne in Babylon in 1792 BCE, he took over a city-state challenged on all sides by other city-states. It was a situation that called for immediate strong rule so that one day peace and security would prevail. After winning military victories over his neighbors and after 30 years of rule, Hammurabi gathered together the laws of the land and had them inscribed on steles and placed throughout Babylonia. There were 282 laws in all. So we've got Hammurabi, we've got Babylon, we've got 1792 BCE, and we've got the fact that he made a code of 282 laws in all. So we've got who, what, when, where. We've also got a little bit of how in there too, but that's not entirely necessary. Okay? But this has done a great job of setting the scene with some background information. If you would like, you should stop the video now and check your own draft to see if you've got some who, what, when, where info between your grabber and the next part that we're going to talk about in a second. The next part that we're going to talk about is the question and the thesis. Now, in this one, it's a little complicated because of the way this is written. You might write the question, or you might state the question as a statement, such as, many people have asked, was Hammurabi's Code just? That's fine. This author kind of combined the thesis with the question. They wrote, together they made up a code that by the measure of his own time, Hammurabi's time, fairness and security, provided justice of the highest order. Now, in this sentence, we see that we are checking whether Hammurabi's Code provides justice of the highest order, which is measured by fairness and security. So the question is stated in that sentence. It's probably better at this point in your career to actually be a little more explicit with that. And by explicit, I mean to be a little more clear with that. Now, the other thing that the author has combined into this sentence and the last sentence of this paragraph is the thesis statement, which is the main idea of his or her argument summed up in a sentence or two. And I'll read it again. Together they made up a code that by the measure of his own time, fairness and security, provided justice of the highest order. A sampling of laws dealing with family relations, property loss, and personal injury will prove the case. So this writer says in these two sentences that they believe that justice is a matter of fairness and security, or providing those things for a society, and says that Hammurabi's Code did provide justice of the highest order, which means they strongly feel that way. And finally, they give us a roadmap which lays out how they're going to structure their argument. They're going to talk about family relations, property loss, and personal injury types of law. And they are going to prove the case by going category by category through those three categories. So you should stop the video, check the last sentence or two of your paragraph, and make sure that you have a solid thesis and roadmap that explain what is your main idea and why do you feel that way, or what are the categories you're going to discuss in your following paragraphs. This concludes this video, and I hope it was helpful. Thanks. Bye.